Here's how I travel the world with just this one backpack. I just got back from a 2-month trip around South America and Guatemala, and so I thought it would be a great time to show you how I'm able to go on these long extended trips with just one backpack for all of my clothes and everything that I'm gonna need. On this trip, I was gone for 2.5 months, and I was in a whole bunch of different climates, ranging from lakes and jungles of Guatemala to the Caribbean coast of Colombia, hiking in Peru, skiing in Chile. So needed a whole bunch of different ranges of clothing, and so here's how I packed for that, and it made it all work. First, the most important thing is the bag itself. I use the Koda Pxi Alpha 35 liter, and I've been using this one for a couple of years now, and honestly, I really love this backpack for the type of traveling that I do. The most important thing, if you're going to be going on a longer extended travel trip like this, is you want a backpack that's clamshell in its design, meaning it's more like a suitcase or luggage where it has a zipper around it, and then you get 2 sections on either side of the luggage that you can store stuff in. These ones typically aren't as big as one of the top loading backpacking style backpacks that you may have, but they're so much easier to deal with and organize all of your stuff. And because with the top loader, you kind of just shove everything in there, or you may have packing cubes or some other way of organizing, but you still have to get everything in from the top. Whereas with the clamshell design, it's actually much easier to keep everything organized and access everything in an efficient way, which is very important if you're going to be going for multiple months at a time. Now, opening up the bag, you can see that we have the 2 main sides. On the right side is where I usually store all of my clothes, and then on the left side, we have 3 smaller pockets where I'll put some miscellaneous items that I'll go over in just a minute. But let's start with my clothes. First up on the right side, I'll usually just have a pair of cheap flip-flops that I get from wherever, just because they're super light and don't take up any space. And then I also have this hat from Fjallraven. I don't know, the Swedish company or whatever, but this is like an ultralight hiking hat, which I really love because it's like super flexible. You can bend the brim however you want, and it doesn't stay that way or doesn't crease or anything. So this is like the perfect travel hat and super light. So definitely recommend this if you want a hat while traveling, and you can just like stuff it in your bag. And now for clothes, the savior of all these long-term travel clothes is something called Merino wool. If you're watching this video, you may have heard of Merino wool, but it is probably the best material for all of your shirts and stuff if you're going to be traveling for a long period of time, because it's antimicrobial, so it doesn't get smelly and it doesn't look dirty or sweaty, which are all things you obviously want if you're going to be traveling for a long time and don't know when you're going to be doing laundry. Speaking of laundry, the reason why I'm able to get away with such little clothes is because you're doing laundry when you're on extended trips like this. Laundry is typically going to be cheaper in other countries, at least compared to the US where I'm making this video, so it's not a huge deal. And when I'm traveling, I'll usually do laundry somewhere between once and twice a week, depending upon how dirty the clothes are and what I'm wearing, but you can get away with less than that if you want to with merino wool. It doesn't really stink, so it's more if you get it dirty somehow like that, or just so you feel better about yourself actually doing laundry. You can also extend that time by just hand washing some clothes in the sink or the shower during your trip as well, and that helps you just be able to go between washes a little bit more easily. So I'll usually do that with socks and underwear or stuff that I don't like wearing too many times in between washes, but shirts and pants and stuff like that, not usually so much. All right, let's get into the actual clothes now. So for me, I put everything in these packing cubes like this just because it helps with organization and storage. I'll put a link in the description to all of this stuff as well that I'm showing you here, as well as I'll also put a link to my packing checklist. So if you want to go on a trip like this or have a checklist for minimalist packing and what you need to bring, you can get that for free in the description. Now, in this first packing cube, I have 2 pairs of shorts for like walking around. Got 4 shirts for like daily stuff. 3 of them are merino wool from Unbound Merino, and then 1 is a cotton polyester spandex blend from Bare Bottom, and I do recommend that one as well. It's a little bit less smell resistant than the merino wool is, but it's still a really good travel shirt and still is pretty smell resistant, so, and it's more comfortable. So if you're doing a scale, I would say like on this side you have your normal cotton tee, which is gonna, you know, be smelly and dirty after 1 or 2 wears. And then Unbound Merino is, you can wear it pretty much as many times as you want, and it's not gonna feel or smell dirty. And then the tech tee from Bare Bottom is kind of in the middle somewhere. So I was testing out this shirt for travel for this trip, and I did really like it. I do think it was more comfortable than the merino wool, but it did feel a little bit dirtier sooner than the wool. So take which one you want. I recommend both of those. And then Western Rise also has good shirts as well. None of this is sponsored. This is all just like my personal opinion on what I like and have been using while traveling for the past 3 years now. Okay, so 2 pairs of shorts, 4 pairs of like travel like daily shirts, and then one workout shirt or hiking shirt, and then PJs. So I just wear like a normal cotton shirt and some athletic shorts for sleeping, so I bring that as well. So that is it for the first packing cube. Now moving on to the underwear one. So for underwear, I bring 4 pairs of underwear, also merino wool so they don't stink and stay cleaner. And I think the Unbound Merino boxer brief is probably the best I've ever used and definitely recommend that. And then 1 pair of spandex for swimming or hiking or athletic activities. And then I have 4 pairs of short daily wear socks and then 2 pairs of longer merino wool socks for hiking or cold areas. And that's it for the small packing cube. Now onto the bigger packing cube. We have 2 pairs of pants. Now I don't usually use merino wool pants because I don't think they look as good as a normal pair of pants. Now for a nicer travel pant, I go with Jack Archer, and then I also have a hiking travel pant from Bare Bottom as well. So I use the Bare Bottom Ridge Stop pant, which I thought was really great for hiking, and I really liked it. Once it gets wet, it stays wet a little bit longer, so didn't love that aspect of it, but in general, it was a great travel pant. Then I also have a sweatshirt in here, 1 long sleeve shirt, and 1 nicer shirt for going out to restaurants and stuff. On this specific trip, I didn't bring a long sleeve button down, though I would in other situations, but just based on where I knew I was going to be, I didn't feel like I needed a long sleeve button down. So you will kind of want to tailor your wardrobe based on the destination and not the amount of time that you're going to be in a place. So you can see here is like, I only have a couple pieces of clothing for each item, but it's all used and specific for the destination. You'll also notice I didn't bring a puffy jacket on this trip as well, whereas I have in the past when I was traveling around Europe, are doing more hiking in Europe in colder seasons, but I knew it would be warm and hot in all of Central and South America where I was going, so I didn't think I would need it, except for when I was going to be skiing or hiking around Machu Picchu in the Salkantay trek, which I'll post another video on that if you want to check that out. But I didn't bring a jacket for that because I knew I was just going to be renting a bigger winter coat for that because it was extra cold there. But you honestly can get away with layering a bunch of stuff. So I would have my long sleeve shirt, a t-shirt, then the sweatshirt, and then my raincoat as well, which I forgot to mention was in the bigger packing cube, but you may not see it here because I actually left that in Colombia to make room to bring home some souvenirs, which I don't usually do, but made some exceptions this time. All right, now let's talk about shoes. So for this trip, I brought 2 pairs of shoes and 1 pair of flip-flops. So my main everyday shoe was the Vessi Stormburst Lows in black, and I went with these because they are waterproof, and I know that in Central America, when I was there in the summer, they can get a lot of rain in the summertime, so in the afternoons. So I wanted to have something that would be waterproof and not stay wet or get my feet wet. And I honestly really loved the Vessi travel shoes. So again, not sponsored, just my general opinion. They were a little rough to break in for like a week or so, but then once they were broken in, they were perfect and absolutely great for the rest of the trip. And even though it was hot out, they didn't feel too hot on my feet once I was used to it. So those were my main travel shoes. And then I also brought a specific pair of hiking shoes as well, because I was going to be doing a 5-day trek to Machu Picchu and then doing other hikes around Peru and Colombia and Guatemala. And so I needed to have a dedicated hiking shoe. And so I went with the Ultra Lone Peak 7s. And I thought those were great. They fit my foot well, they're lightweight, they're not waterproof, but they're still super comfortable, and you can wear them around town as well if you don't want to just wear them as hiking shoes. So I put them on that left side of the pouch, and then I also throw in just some other random stuff in the shoes for storage when I'm not using them, just to save some space in the backpack. The most important thing with travel shoes, though, is to make sure that they actually are comfortable and fit your feet. So don't worry about the style as much, and don't just go off of these recommendations just because I say them. So I personally like these and they fit my foot well, but you're gonna want something that's actually comfortable for the shape of your foot and fits you correctly. So make sure you try anything on and break them in a little bit before your trip. Otherwise you're gonna have sore feet, and that's not fun when you're carrying, a heavy backpack as well. Next, let's move on to toiletries. So I also store my toiletries bag in the left side of this backpack, and this just has everything I need for toiletries, bathroom, shower, that kind of thing. So personally, I wear contacts and glasses, so I needed to bring my contacts and contact lens solution, but that I just bought in the country. I didn't bring that with me. And then enough contacts to get me through the trip. I also had this travel toothbrush and toothpaste, as well as some hair products and just some face moisturizer as well that I brought with me. Now, some people will say you don't need to bring shampoo or soap or anything like that, which I kind of agree with, kind of disagree with. It depends on the situation, I think. So for me, I stay in a lot of hostels, and most of the time hostels don't provide you soap and shampoo, so you'll definitely want to have some of your own in that case. And I'll usually just get like the small little travel bottles, but you can also pick those up in country as well if you want. You don't need to pack them with you. You can buy them later in the country if you don't want them right at the start. But if you're staying in hotels, then you probably don't even need that to begin with, because most hotels are going to give you soap in the hotel itself. Hostels typically don't give it to you, so you'll need to have your own for that part. Then lastly, in my toiletry bag, I finally just have a pair of nail clippers and tweezers, and then also some deodorant as well. And then I'll bring these little 10 milliliter cologne bottles as well, so I can make sure that I'm smelling good for a night out. Then also on the left side of this pocket, I also bring my beard trimmer as well, since I want to keep this slightly neat and not just like shave it down with a razor all the time. So I need to bring my beard trimmer with me as well. And that's just stored on the left side, just kind of randomly thrown in there. And then all that's left on the left side of the pouch for me is this quick drying microfiber towel, which dries super quickly. So definitely recommend one of these if you're going to be traveling for a long period of time and need your own towel that's going to need to dry quickly, and you're in hostels instead of hotels where you're going to need to have your own towel. Definitely recommend this microfiber one here. Then I also have these 2 bags with me as well for day use or whatever. So this is a hip pack that just unfolds. And so it just zips up into this package. This is from Patagonia. So I can use this as a sling or a hip pack and just store my camera gear when I'm out filming or whatever else. And then this is really cool. This is my day pack. So it just packs up into something this small, and then you unfold it and you pull it out of the pack, and then you have a backpack. So this is what I use for all of my shorter hikes where I don't need a bigger backpack, and just kind of like walking around cities, I'll use this little backpack as well. And then when you're done, you just like stuff it into this pocket like this. You keep going, and that's all you got to do. Then in this top left pocket, this is where I store just some miscellaneous stuff. So I have my universal plug adapter here, so I can make sure I'm always able to plug in and charge stuff whatever country I'm in. We have a rain fly for the backpack itself, so if it's raining outside, I can make sure that it stays dry and nothing inside gets wet. I have a small first aid kit, and then I also have an EpiPen for allergies just in case something happens. Then for our last inside pocket, we have my tech pocket. So since I do content creation when I travel, that means I need to bring some cameras and tech gear with me. Now when I travel, I don't usually bring my big camera in this backpack. If I do bring that, I'll have a separate bag for that, but most of the time I don't even travel with that for longer trips, including this one. So for this trip, I just brought the DJI Osmo Action 4 and Insta360 X4 cameras, as well as a DJI Mic 2 in case I needed to record any audio while I was traveling for one of my videos. And I made sure I had enough backup batteries for those. And then I also had 2 hard drives with me that I traveled with. So for travel hard drives, I recommend this one from SanDisk. It's pretty robust and it's an SSD, so it's fast and rugged, and so this is one I use. And then lastly in this pocket, just had a couple mounts for my action cameras, and that's about it. All right, that does it for everything inside of the bag. That's everything that I fit in there. So now let's move on to the outside pouch. I could probably do some better organization in my outside pouch. So I just kind of throw random stuff in there, to be honest. But you see that you open up the big outside pocket and there is another inside zipper that you can put stuff in. So in the big outside pocket part of that, on the outside of the zipper, I have my headphones. So I have a pair of Bose noise canceling headphones that I like to travel with. So they're a little bit bulky and it's a little controversial if you want to carry headphones that big with you or not, but I really like them. I think they're great for planes and trains and buses and stuff like that. So I think it's worth the space, but you may think otherwise. And then I also have my sunglasses case on outside here as well. So and then inside the pocket, this is where I usually throw my passport when I'm going to be needing a lot on travel days. Otherwise, I'll find a place inside the bag to put it there and store it more securely. Then I also throw my AirPods in here as well. So I do have a second pair of headphones for working out or just other situations when the Bose ones are too big. And then I also just usually throw my charging cables in this little outside pocket as well. Then this is usually kind of my junk pocket where I just throw stuff where I don't really know where else to put it as well. So you'll see I have a lot of just random foreign currency in here after traveling. We got some wet wipes, some hand sanitizer, chapstick, maybe a snack or two, and that's really it. Except for this. This is something that's actually very important and you're going to want to make sure that you have with you, and that's a lock and a cable. So the reason why you want to have this is if you're staying in hostels, you want to make sure that you're able to lock up your bag, because most hostels will have lockers, so you can put your bag in the locker and then you can lock it up to make sure that it's safe and nobody's going to touch it. Or if they don't have lockers in the hostel you're staying at, then you can lock up the zippers on your bag and you can take the cable and lock it to your bed frame so you know that nobody's going to take it or use it or, you know, steal something from your bag, and it just gives you some more security. So you definitely want to make sure you have that with you. All right, that does it for the outside pocket. Now, all that's left in this bag is my laptop. So since I'm a digital nomad and I travel all the time and make content and work remotely while I'm traveling, I need to have a laptop with me. I can't get by with just an iPad or something like that. So this backpack does have a laptop sleeve as well. I usually just travel with a 13-inch MacBook Air, but I have used a 16-inch MacBook Pro and traveled with this backpack as well. It's just kind of heavy, so that's why I use the Air now. And that's my bag. So that is literally everything that I had with me for 2 months in Central and South America. Like, I literally just got back from this trip and hadn't unpacked anything, so you just watched me live unpack that bag right here. So that was everything I had with me. And so if I had to give you one piece of advice for packing for lightweight, minimalist, one bag kind of travel, it would be to bring less than you think you're gonna need. Like, how many times have you gone on a trip or packed a suitcase only to return home after your trip and realize you didn't use or wear half the things that you brought? It might be scary, but trust me, just bring the things you know you absolutely need and are absolutely gonna wear. And anything else that you think, maybe I'll use this, just don't even bother with it. If you need it, you'll find a way in the country to get it, and you'll make do with everything else. If you want a full packing checklist for minimalist and one bag travel, I put together all the essentials that you're gonna need, and you can get that for free at the link in the description of this video. Hope this video has helped you see that one bag travel doesn't have to be scary, and you can absolutely fit everything you need in just one small carry-on or one small backpack to help you get through your entire trip and just travel lighter and travel easier. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.